Good evening, friends. I'm Siddharth and welcome to a very special Amway home product launch evening. I hope you and your family are doing well. In these challenging times, we are happy to introduce for our consumers a product relevant to the present conditions. To talk about the product and its potential, we have with us Kumar Chakravarti and our expert speaker for the evening, Dr. Anunduta Ray. Let me welcome our expert speaker of the evening, Dr. Anunduta Ray. She is a professor and head of departments Food and Nutrition at Maharani Kaseswari College, University of Calcutta. A gold medalist with extensive experience in diabetes and medicinal plants, she is also author of books on food and nutrition and has multiple national and international publications in reputed journals like British Food Journal and Journal of Food Microbiology. A popular face on TV and a respected voice on radio, we'll welcome her to share her knowledge with us today.
Thank you, Siddharth. Namaste and warm wishes to all of you. I am Dr. Anunduta Ray from Kolkata, and I am here to talk to you about a pandemic. No, not the corona pandemic, because we're all discussing the corona pandemic, the corona crisis every day. No, I will be talking to you about another pandemic that has already hit us and hit us badly, much before the corona pandemic has hit us. You see, this pandemic that I'm talking about is present each time, affects you each time you put a bite of food into your mouth. That is the pandemic I'm talking about. Yes, it is about the food molecules. You see, as nutritionist, whenever I come to you, I talk to you about the inside story of a fruit or a vegetable. And that inside story is all about the nutrients, the carbohydrate, protein, fat, the fiber, and our favorite antioxidants. But you see, there is a lot more that is going on the outside of the food. And that is what I am going to talk about. So let me start my story, the story about a ripe, juicy tomato, a lycopene-rich, anti-cancerous tomato that we so fondly eat in the belief that it is going to be a healer in our body. But let me trace its journey. Let me tell you the story of its journey from the farm to your plate. And that is the story I am going to tell you, because each chapter of that story has a lot of things going on. So, what happens is that when one fine morning a farmer goes out into his fresh field and plants the seeds of a harmless tomato plant, what he uses is the insecticide and the pesticides. You would be asking me that insecticides and pesticides are very, very important. Yes, but these insecticides and pesticides are as harmful to the pests as they are to our body and each cell. As the story unravels, I will tell you how it has damaging effects. Now, when the tomato has grown ripe and fresh, they are transferred from the farm. They are picked up, of course, first, and then they are transferred on trucks in gunny bags, all pushed together and stored in the storehouse or warehouses, where rodents gain entry most of the times, and they start eating into the vegetable or the fruit or the tomato that I'm talking about. And what happens is, these have several germs that enter the food molecule, that go on the surface, and these germs are dangerous germs. That would be the second chapter that I would talk about. So you see, we have just done 2 chapters and I've already told you what the food molecule has on its surface. If I go on to the 3rd chapter, when the tomato actually enters the market, what happens is, in the market, to make them look fresh, because appearances do matter all the time, so to make them look fresh, they are coated with waxes. And these waxes have a very, very damaging effect on our body, in our body. And finally, to just remind you that when the tomato is being processed all through, whether on the farm or whether somewhere else, it has water being used over and over again for most of the processes. And this water, if has a lot of heavy metals in, and it does in most of the cases, like arsenic, like lead, like cadmium, that can be imbibed on the food surface and inside as well. So food molecule, the tomato, the poor unsuspecting tomato, when it is on the farm and as it reaches our plate, has a huge impact on our body physiology. That is the pandemic that has already hit us, and it is high time that we are concerned with that pandemic. You are washing fruits and vegetables to prevent the virus, but are you washing fruits and vegetables enough and in the correct way so as to actually clean it from all the things that I have told you about? To pass on to the first chapter, as I said, I'll go back to the first chapter and tell you why these insecticides and pesticides are harmful. You see, insecticides and pesticides have a very damaging effect on our body. These are artificially produced chemicals which have a very dangerous structure that can hamper our liver metabolism. Our liver is the chemical factory of the body. And you see, these chemicals can actually hamper this liver from functioning properly, our liver from functioning properly. Insecticides, pesticides of various kinds are also very dangerous for the kidney. The kidney is actually the filtering organ of the body. It filters, like the filter, the sieve that filters out the tea while we are making tea leaves, it filters out the tea leaves while we are making tea. Similarly, the kidney actually filters out the unwanted waste products. And these insecticides and pesticides actually can hamper this filtering effect. Result, your body, your blood would contain all the damaging things, all the harmful chemicals. We call them non-protein nitrogenous substances, which are supposed to go out, but due to the damaging effect of these chemicals, insecticides and pesticides, they stop the kidney or lower the kidney from filtering these. And these get mixed up in blood, creating a lot of different effects. So this is the problem of insecticides and pesticides. It can also lead to cancer. So the tomato you were having for its lycopene, which was actually an anti-cancerous element for our body, it has been proved actually, is not giving us that preventive effect. In fact, with every tomato, with every bite that you're taking, your liver is being damaged, your kidney is being damaged. There is mutation that occurs in your DNA, each cell of your body, the DNA inside each cell, leading to carcinogenic elements being produced, cancer being produced as a result. Recent research has also said that insecticides and pesticides also affect our eyes. The retina is damaged permanently. Passing on to the second chapter, it was about waxes. So you see the waxes that were there, the waxes that coated the fruit, the tomato. Waxes are actually long chain fatty acid containing lipids. These have long chain fatty acids and are lipids. That's why that greasy feel that we have from waxes. And these waxes give the fruit and the vegetable a very fantastic and lovely appearance. But all that glitters is never gold, as the old English proverb says. So this wax, actually, what does it do? It creates problems for our gastrointestinal tract. It creates problems for our eyes again. And waxes, according to about 10 or 12 journals that I've gone through, waxes have a very damaging effect on your immune system and produces allergic symptoms. Because waxes are of different kinds, the human body can actually have several allergic reactions coming from these wax coatings. So we will have to be very, very careful while we are selecting what we are selecting from the market. Waxes we can see, somewhat understand, but germs that had entered tomato that were on the surface, no, we cannot see them. And these germs, these microorganisms can produce various different types of reactions, mainly of two categories. One is the foodborne infections and one is the foodborne intoxications. Now the foodborne infection is all about the microorganism itself being present on the surface of the food. And intoxication is when the toxins of the microorganisms are present on the food. So on one side, it's a chemical toxin on the food. On the other side, there are microorganisms on the food. So the balance is not there, it's just lost. And there's nothing that we can do because we cannot understand whether a particular germ is present on the food surface. And finally, the heavy metals. The heavy metals like arsenic has a proven damaging effect in our body. Lead, cadmium, leading to permanent gastrointestinal damage. It leads to permanent defect of the liver. It leads to permanent problems of cardiovascular system, your heart. And it has also been seen that lead can have a very damaging effect on your brain as well. So we will have to be very, very careful as to what we are consuming. We always talk about the dark green vegetables or the outer covering of vegetables to be more nutritious. For example, cabbage. The dark green leaves of the cabbage, the outside part, the outermost whorls of the cabbage are darker in color and have more vitamin A. But these are the areas, these are the leaves which are most badly affected by the insecticides, pesticides and the heavy metals. So do we throw them away? The most nutritious part? Or do we actually throw away the skin which contains all the good quality fibers, insoluble and soluble fibers which prevent us from having diabetes, which prevent us from having heart disease? No. So what is the option? The option is clean your vegetables, clean your fruits well. In fact, cereals have also been found to have a lot of these damaging chemicals and insecticides and all that I've been talking about. So my dear friends, it is time that we also spare a thought for the outside of the food as we spare for the inside. There is so much going on in each and every food molecule from outside, on the outside. And we will have to be very, very careful as to this. So, please clean it well. Please have all the nutrients that nature has planned to give you because nature has planned to nurture you. So get that nourishment. Get that nourishment fresh and fine without any damaging effect that human beings have actually put on the food or has contaminated it. So have food without contamination. Lead a happy and healthy life always. Well, thank you so much. And this is the story of the pandemic that I was talking about.